We're back at the bitter end.
Evening all.
Another episode of Try Before We Die. This is a regular episode. As you see, Mal's here with us. Hopefully we won't have too many more without him, right?
And that is true. That's the way it's going to be now.
All right. I'm glad to hear it. And again, congrats on Liverpool winning the league. Sorry, everybody.
That's just the way you are.
Yeah, that's just how it is. If Harry Chest was a team, right, we'd have a champion every year. So it's Try Before We Die. Just a quick reminder, this is about 300 bottles in the bar.
Correct.
And, you know, some folks have collections just to look at. And, you know, we've put together a collection to see what it tastes like. And it's, we crossed the 50-year-old milestone, both of us. And it's time to start drinking them. So we're probably 3 months in.
Yeah, I think we started, what was it,
January,
March,
February, before the COVID and all that. Cause
then we had a bit of a break.
Yeah.
So we're probably about 3 months, was it 10 episodes?
Yeah,
maybe 11 episodes?
maybe even a few more with the bonus episodes.
Yeah, with a few more.
Yeah, but we've been doing it for a while here. We're into summer, and so we hope you're enjoying it because I'm having a good time with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been early days, and I think every episode we've done so far, we've had a really good drink. Now, granted, I don't think we're going to find too many that are not that great, but I think so far we've hit every one that has been quite spectacular. I think we've enjoyed them. Just to reiterate, we're here. We're just going to be just talking out Scotch and just enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and you know there are bottles in the bar that I think that are perhaps not as we're looking forward to as much as some other ones. We've tried some that we were very familiar with. We've tried some that you got to have the first experience with us. So we really don't know what we're going to have.
No, that's the whole point of this. It's just random, and there's enough bottles in here to keep us busy till we figured like we're going to be in our 70s.
We might have to up the pace a little bit at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you know. I tell you, one of the things, Mal, I'm looking forward to is when we can have people here again.
Yes.
And have some guest drinkers.
Without doubt. I think part of this is the enjoyment that we get with our friends doing it. Obviously, I think as we start to move down and we get a little bit more savvy about it, we're going to get a couple of other guests in and maybe do some round tables and actually really bring it into a new, different perspective.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where this goes because it turns out that we've opened quite a few bottles, but the other day the Whiskey Fairy came and that many more new bottles showed up, so we're like at a net zero in the project.
Yeah, and the way it works around here is, we've discussed in other episodes, is basically anytime anybody comes here, they usually bring a bottle of scotch, knowing that Colin has been collecting over several years now, or many years.
Yeah.
So it's like one of these things where, and this could go on forever. Which
here's the hoping.
Which is not a bad thing, but you know, it's one of those things where hopefully at some stage we'll see some light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a long, long way away.
Yep.
So let's just go over this again. My friend over here is going to pull out his phone. He's going to spin up a number, and then somewhere within this bar, he's going to find a bottle of scotch. We're going to crack it open.
Yep.
We're going to give you some information about it. We're going to give you our thoughts about it, and then we're just going to go from there. And then, like Colin says, hopefully down the road we'll have our guests back in so we can all partake in this. And you know, hopefully some of you guys are now looking at these bottles and being like, hey, you know, maybe I will go out and try this, or maybe I'll go and start my own collection and start doing this.
You never know what's going to happen. And the count in the bar, by the way, again, starts behind us, goes above left to in front of us, to the opposite side in front of us, to the side between the two sides, and then into the snooker room. So we know the way the bottles go. And with the Whiskey Fairy coming the other day, we could actually get a number for a second time, and it's going to be a different bottle. There's been some shifting around in the bar, so things aren't where they were.
Yeah, for me it's completely random. For me it's completely random. I don't even know where it's going. But I know there's certain parts of this bar I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to a good place. Yeah. But it's one of these things where each time we go for the number, it's very exciting to know, oh, I wonder which one's going to be this time. So
I've got it all on the phone before we have to password back in. I'm just going to make sure I turn the phone,
Yeah,
volume.
don't need to get any calls.
All right, so let's see. Oh, here it is, generate. We're generating a random number. Oh, so I'm not exactly sure. So it's 212. So I'm trying to figure out where that's going to bring us. So we know so I actually have to do some counting because there's been some, adding to the shelves and whatnot. So we're 75 behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
Oh, I got a
17,
good
18,
feeling about this.
19, 20, 23. So that's 98. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 98 plus 9, 107. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 117. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 27. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 36. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
Yeah.
45.
We're on the backside.
So we're on the backside, but I think we're actually going somewhere else. So we're at 145. All right, so this will be not next in the count. 145. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 55. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 65. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 75. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 85. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 95. Malcolm.
Yeah.
We are on a good shelf.
Yes, we are. One thing I'm starting to realize with your numbers, that 200 puts me in a good spot.
This puts us into this shelf for the first time. So we were at 205, right?
Yeah.
205? 205? All right. Oh, boy. 205? Not 95?
205.
205? Do we need to double check?
You may have to double check if you want to make sure.
45. 45. 2, 4, 6, 8, 55. 65. 75. 85. 95 now.
All right, so you were right.
So we're 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 200.
All right.
12 to go. Oh man, we are in decent territory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 9 would have been the one. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so this is a bottle I've never had. We are 3 away from an awesome bottle.
Well,
But that we're familiar with. We've drank a few. So this is bottle 212. I've never had any of their offerings. This is a Deanston, a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. Let's bring it over and talk with Mal a little bit about this.
well, from first look, after I get some of this dust off here, it's very golden in color, like extremely golden. I myself have never heard of this. Deanston.
Let's take a look here.
I'm going to look.
So while Mal looks in the book to see if we can take a look, they're telling us a couple things right off the bat. They're suggesting this is very simple, handcrafted and natural, nothing added but hard work and determination. Now, recently, I think in a bonus episode, Mal, we were talking about virgin oak casking.
Oh, here we go.
This is finished in virgin oak. So this is truly whiskey finished in virgin oak, meaning it didn't hold a bourbon or a Madeira or a Sauterne or a Burgundy or a sherry. This is spirits put into just raw oak casks. So this is a no age statement, non-chill filtered. They have a 12-year-old for sure because we have one on the shelf, but this is 46.3% alcohol, unchill filtered, which means when they filtered it from the cask, they didn't do anything other than just filter the sediment out. They didn't do anything to manipulate any flavors. So, anything on the back. And, I don't know why they demand that people should be able to read such small letters. So I'm not even going to try.
So,
What do we got?
we don't have that bottle.
What do they say about the Deanston distillery?
Okay,
Anything?
so they say the house style is light, slightly oily, nutty, accented towards a notably clean, malty sweetness. Restorative.
Restorative. Okay.
So I'm not quite sure what that's going to take us on the end part of that, but the rest of it sounds pretty good.
Can I just take a look at the book?
Yeah. I don't think we've got anything else that would be.
All right, this is what I was curious about, and I like to learn things with everybody. It opened as the Deanston Distillery in 1965 and 66. It was very popular in the 70s. They mothballed, which means they shut down production, in the 1980s. And then in the early 1990s, they began producing again. So what that tells me is that if you have an opportunity to get an older Deanston, say something 20 or plus years older, it may have been distilled before they mothballed. And so that would be the rare Deanstons. This was going to be the new releases and more commonly available.
So also, just a tip of information, the distillery sits on an old textile mill and is named after the new nearby town. And they basically say the new owners use an unpeated barley for the whiskey.
Okay. Well, it's a highland again, and so traditionally that's not a peaty region as well. So we might as well see what it tastes like.
Let's do this.
All right. So the seal on this bottle is like an old tax seal, just a strip over the top, versus some of them have the foil wrap all the way around. So you did notice some dust on there, so I'm going to let the... And this isn't just me doing this. I've actually seen some research done about, they recommend if your bottle's been upright for a few years to just lubricate the cork a little bit.
Dampen it down.
So I'm going to just try to turn the cork and see if we can break the seal without me peeling it. Yeah, I think it's going to.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've broken the seal. All right, so here we go.
Ooh, yeah. I love that
Oh,
sound.
interesting. That is an interesting fragrance. It almost was a little nutty.
Yep. I can smell the nuttiness. Definitely some sweet.
You know, what's interesting is I think that we're getting some different flavors just even on the nose, because it's not too often we have virgin casking. So we're often being treated to sensory sensations related to what was in the cask prior to the whiskey. This is truly pure whiskey and wood.
Yeah, it's pretty much just been distilled.
Yes.
That's basically
And
what
then
done.
just aged and oaked.
Nothing's been done to enhance the flavor, as we've said before. And it really is a very golden, almost treacle, honey looking.
So, the Deanston, no age statement, unchill filtered, 46.3% alcohol, Highland Scotch whiskey.
You definitely smell the sweetness.
Yeah. So I spent some time with it in my mouth. Sometimes we say things that seem kind of foolish. Looking for the nuts. And
Yeah, now I hear.
And I think I found some of that nuttiness right there in the front of my mouth. And but it is faint. It was definitely on the nose, very faint in the mouth, but it really isn't. You can tell that this hasn't been cast in a previously used cask.
No, this is a very punchy flavor. This has got like, it's like literally kapow, and then you can taste it, but it's so, I guess the word is not brief, but it's just so mellow that you can just taste the flavors, and then it just sort of warms up and tinkles the nose.
It does. Comes up in the sinuses a little bit. I'm trying to find because I'm balancing the nuts and the sweetness. And it's really, both those flavors are very present, but not in a over the top kind of way. It's almost subtle completely.
Yeah, if you swill it around in your mouth,
Yep.
and you keep it on your tongue, you can taste the nuttiness.
Mm-hmm.
Very much
Right.
so.
Right, the nuttiness is really happening right here.
Yep. But the first time I did it, I just took a sip and just took it down, and I really didn't taste that. But now, allowing it to swill around, you can definitely taste the nuttiness, and it has some sweet taste to it as well. And it's very, I guess the word I'm trying to find, I can't think of it exactly, but it really does have this punchy type of taste to it. It has this, like, it just hits you, and then it just sits there, and it just wants to just be that taste, and that's it. You don't get this, like, overwhelming, like, different taste.
Right, it's not evolving into something else. It's really just got these two, this nuttiness and this sweetness, and that's where it stays.
Yep.
It shows up there, it stays there. It's not overwhelming on either end.
Nope.
It's faint, really, on both sides of the coin, but that's the flavors you're getting.
Yeah, and you do taste it. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like it just rolls off back into your mouth and then you drink it and it's there. You taste it. It forces you to taste it, and then all of a sudden it just sort of just like drifts away, and then it becomes a little bit up in the face, a little bit,
Just
a little bit warm, but not like one of those ones where
No,
you
it
get,
doesn't
like,
come all the way down. Right, no.
That's interesting. And I don't know. We brought out some accoutrements, the chocolate, the cheese. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go with this.
I know where I'm going to go with it.
I'm going to go with the chocolate.
I'm going to go with this
Okay.
sharp
You
cheddar.
do
Because I think that the cheese, this very sharp cheddar with the nuttiness, is going to be the pairing.
Okay, you do the cheese, I'll do the chocolate,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens here.
I think you'll be disappointed, and I'll be pleased.
This is what this is all about.
Yes.
I think this chocolate's going to actually force it to become more enhanced.
I think the cheese, the bitterness, the sharpness of this cheddar is going to really allow the nuttiness to exist. That's a good cheese.
That's I really like this chocolate.
Yeah, that worked.
All right. The chocolate side of this really brought the sweetness out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Really
I totally believe you.
And I could taste the nuttiness in the very backside of it, but that sweetness was really enhanced. That's what I think this was.
Right. So I feel like that the sharp cheddar balanced the whole drink out.
All right.
Didn't separate the sweet and the nut, but rather just balanced the whole drink out. I think it was a very good pairing. That's my chocolate. I'll give it a go.
Okay. Now with the cheese, you're right. It really evens things out.
Balances the whole drink.
You really don't feel that sweetness. What you get is a sweet rolling into like this easygoing nut type of taste coming through, and then it just washes away.
See, I feel like the cheese might be the missing ingredient in this whiskey.
I have to agree.
Right. And the chocolate is fine. I love that chocolate too. But I think the chocolate really addresses just one of the flavors in the whiskey and leaves the nuttiness to its own, whereas it sort of matches up with the sweetness. So I felt the cheese was the missing ingredient.
And that's part of this entire gig that we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about the 300 bottles, we talk about walking around the bar and the snooker table and stuff like that. But what this really boils down to is figuring out how to enjoy your scotch. And everybody is going to be slightly different. I mean, we'll stick to our guns and we'll go to our go-tos and stuff like that. But don't be scared to try something a little bit different. I'm not a big cheese eater by far, but it's nice to actually be like, you know what? My friends drank many a scotch. We've drunk many a scotch before, and it's nice to actually be like, you know what? I'm going to do this because I have to believe in what you're saying. Because you're not going to BS us.
Right. I'm more than willing to go, oh, that wasn't really what I was hoping for.
And that really was. The cheese definitely was the call, without a doubt. So, I mean, this whole project that we're working on and what we're doing, you know, it's an eye-opener for all of us. It's going to be one of these things, I think, as it develops, we hope that people out there start to develop and go out and enjoy drinking scotch as much as we do.
Right, because I would say, and I think, you know, you might echo this, Mal, most people's idea of what Scotch whiskey is Glenlivet and Glenfiddich. And by no means knocking those brands, because they certainly have many offerings. But you go to just any bar anywhere on this planet, and you're going to find those two whiskeys.
Correct.
Right? And there are hundreds of different whiskeys, aged, casked, distilled in a variety of ways, and all impacting the flavor. And so they don't taste the same.
And that's the big thing. If you think of other alcohols that are out there, your vodkas and stuff like that, they all taste very similar. Even your beers, you go through, there's certain darks and stuff like that, but you go and you drink them, they're all very similar. Whereas Scotch, there is such a wide variety of tastes.
And if you're willing to take a moment and find the flavors.
Correct.
Right? And not just get, alcohol, but to actually take a moment and look for those flavors that exist.
Yeah, you know, relax, enjoy it that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. But you know, I think this is a good way to end.
Yeah.
I think we brought some more information out to our viewers.
Yeah, I actually had to pour a little bit
You
more
did
in my
pour a
glass.
little more.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a little bit left in here. So, from Guam,
Viva!
Good job, boys.
Yeah, that's an interesting taste.
I think it's the virgin oak.